Okay, let's unpack this today. Wishes. We all have them, right?
Hmm.
That little voice imagining things could be different. And, in English, how we actually say those wishes, it's not just about the desire itself.
Not at all. It's a fascinating look at how the language handles what's real versus what's hypothetical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And getting it right really impacts your grammar. Yeah. But also just how natural you sound expressing feelings.
Absolutely. It taps into some pretty fundamental ways we talk about these imagined situations and, well, our emotions about them.
Hmm.
It's definitely more than just saying, I want.
Right. So for this deep dive, we're looking at a guide called Mastering Wishes in English. And our mission today is basically to pull out the key stuff from that guide.
Yeah, the really practical insights so you can get a solid handle on talking about wishes confidently.
Okay, so where do we start? Wishing about the present.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's often a tricky spot for learners, and the guide rightly highlights it when we want things to be different right now.
Right. And the structure is I wish plus the past simple, which feels a bit weird, doesn't it?
It does. You're talking about now, but you're using a past tense.
So why is that?
Well, that's a really good question. That past tense isn't really about time here. It's more like a grammatical flag.
A flag.
Yeah, signaling that you're stepping outside reality. You're creating this sort of imagined alternative present. It's how English marks something as unreal now.
Ah, okay. Like creating a hypothetical space. That makes sense. The guide gives good examples like, I wish I spoke English fluently.
Exactly, and that immediately tells you the reality. The speaker doesn't speak fluently right now. The wish highlights the gap.
Yeah. Or, I wish I had more free time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously means you don't.
Precisely. Or I wish I didn't live so far from the city. Points right at their current situation.
And what about that I wish it weren't raining example? The guide mentions using weren't instead of wasn't.
Yeah, that's interesting. Using weren't, even with I or he or she or it, is quite common in these wish structures, especially maybe in slightly more formal English.
Right.
It kind of underlines that unreality, that hypothetical feeling. So this whole structure becomes a tool, really,
Tool for what?
for expressing, regrets about the present, frustrations, maybe just daydreams about things being a bit different.
Totally. And for you listening, think about examples like, I wish I had a better memory.
Yeah.
I bet a lot of language learners feel that.
Oh, definitely. I forget new words so quickly, or I wish I was more confident when speaking English.
Yeah.
So it's a way for you to acknowledge those feelings, talk about your learning goals, maybe a bit indirectly, but very clearly.
Okay, got it. Present wishes. I wish plus past simple for an unreal now. So what about looking back? Wishing about the past. The guide talks about that too. And it feels like it could get more, I don't know, emotional.
It often does, yeah. Wishing about the past. That's really about regret, isn't it? Things you can't go back and change.
Right. Decisions made, moments gone.
Exactly. Things that are finished, beyond altering. And the grammar shifts here. It becomes, I wish plus past perfect.
Past perfect.
Yeah.
So that's had plus the past participle, like had studied or hadn't said. Why that tense?
Well, the past perfect lets us step even further back. We use it after I wish to kind of build an alternative past.
Ah, okay. Imagining if something back then had gone differently.
Precisely. Like the guide's example, I wish I had studied harder for the test. It clearly implies the test is over and the result maybe wasn't great.
Yeah, you can feel the regret. Or, I wish I hadn't said that to her. Oof, that's heavy.
It is. Carries that weight of a past mistake. Other ones from the guide, like, I wish I had started learning English earlier.
Oh, that's a common one.
Totally. Or I wish I hadn't wasted so much time scrolling on my phone. We've all been there, right?
Guilty, yeah.
Yeah.
It really feels like this structure lets you tap into those deeper feelings about the past.
It does. Think about, I wish I had told him how I felt. Huge missed opportunity vibe. Or, I wish we had more time together. Maybe looking back on something that's ended. It's a more maybe mature way to communicate these complex emotions about things you can't change.
Okay, past wishes sorted. I wish plus past perfect for regrets. All right. Now, the future. Wishing about the future seems potentially more complicated.
It can seem that way, but the guide breaks it down nicely. Generally, future wishes are about things that seem unlikely or maybe even impossible.
Things outside our control.
Often, yeah. Things we don't really expect to happen but wish would. And the pattern here is usually I wish plus would plus verb.
Would, like in conditional sentences. How does that work for the future?
Think of would here as expressing a desire for a future change or action, but one you don't really have control over or anticipate happening easily. It often sounds like hoping against hope or wanting someone else to change their behavior.
Okay, I see. So like the example, I wish it would stop raining. You definitely can't control the weather.
Exactly. Or I wish people would be more honest. That's a general wish about others' future actions.
Right. Or the classic, I wish my neighbors would be quiet at night.
Ha! Yes, relatable for many, I'm sure. And I wish the bus would arrive on time. A daily struggle for commuters.
Yeah, these all definitely have that out of my hands feeling. But the guide makes a really important point about not using would.
Yes. This is key. Generally, you don't use I wish I would when talking about your own future actions.
Right. The guide says, I wish I would study more is incorrect. Was that?
Well, because studying more is something you can potentially control, right? So if you want to express that desire, you'd usually use the present wish form we talked about. I wish I studied more.
Meaning, I don't study enough now, and I want that to be different.
Exactly. Or if you're expressing a genuine intention or hope for the future, you'd just say, I hope I'll study more.
Ah, okay.
That wish plus would structure is mostly reserved for things external to you or other people's actions.
That clears it up nicely. Okay, future wishes. I wish plus would plus verb for unlikely external stuff, but avoid it for your own actions. Cool. Now what about if only? The guide mentions that too.
Ah, yes. If only. This is where wishes get sort of supercharged emotionally.
Supercharged.
Yeah, the guide calls it a more emotional, a dramatic alternative to I wish. It just adds more intensity.
So it packs a bigger emotional punch.
Totally. A stronger sense of regret, maybe, or a really deep longing, or a more desperate hope. It just dials up the feeling.
Okay, the examples make sense then. If only I had more time does sound sadder than just, I wish I had more time.
It does, doesn't it? Same with if only I hadn't made that mistake. You feel the weight more.
Yeah. And if only I were more confident, that sounds like a really deep yearning.
Mm-hmm. Or that classic one, if only we could turn back time. Pure longing for the impossible.
Definitely feels more dramatic, like something from a movie or a very intense conversation.
Exactly. It adds that extra layer of emotion.
Okay, great. So we've got present, past, future, and the extra emotional if only.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the guide moves into something really practical. Actual speaking practice.
Yes, this is where you, the listener, really get to cement this stuff. The guide gives you sentence starters to finish out loud.
Like a mini workout for your mouth and brain.
Pretty much. It's designed to get you actively using these structures. The prompts are things like, I wish I had.
I wish I could.
I wish people would.
If only I.
I wish I had never.
And I wish the world.
Yeah, they're quite open-ended. The idea is for you to connect them to your own life.
Your daily stuff, your learning, maybe childhood things, future dreams.
Exactly. Anything, really. It's about making it personal. And there's a neat example in the guide of how an advanced learner might combine these.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It weaves them together.
It does. It goes, I wish I had started learning English when I was younger. If only I had taken it more seriously at school. I wish I could speak fluently without hesitation, and I wish people around me would support my goals more.
See, that uses past regret, the emotional if only, a present wish about ability, and a future would wish about other people. Really clever.
It really shows how they work together naturally, and the advice to record yourself speaking. That's gold.
Absolutely. Listen back, hear yourself, try again. That's how you get comfortable.
It bridges that gap between knowing the rule and actually, using it smoothly.
Okay, nearly there. The guide wraps up with a super useful bonus tip, the difference between wish and hope.
Ah, yes, a classic point of confusion for learners.
Definitely. They both express desire, but they're not interchangeable, are they?
Not at all. The key difference, as the guide points out, is possibility. Or perhaps perceived possibility.
Right. Hope is for things that feel genuinely possible or likely.
Generally, yes. There's a reasonable chance it might happen. I hope you have a great day. That's perfectly possible.
Whereas wish, like we've been saying, is for the unreal, the unlikely, the impossible.
Exactly. The guide contrasts, I hope you have a great day, with, I wish I could fly. Big difference in reality there.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, I hope I pass my exam.
Yeah.
That's a real possibility you're aiming for.
Right. Versus, I wish I had studied more, looking back with regret, because the chance to study before the exam is gone.
That really clarifies it. Hope looks forward to something achievable. Wish often looks at the present or past with dissatisfaction, or to a future that feels out of reach.
You've nailed it.
Okay, this has been incredibly helpful. So, quick recap from the guide. Present wishes use the past simple for an unreal now. Past wishes use the past perfect for those unchangeable regrets.
Yep.
Future wishes often use would plus verb for external unlikely events.
Usually.
And if only adds that extra emotional weight.
Exactly. Getting the hang of these really does boost your grammar, but more than that, it lets you express yourself much more fully, more authentically in English. Connect better.
Definitely. So, thinking about all that, here's a final thought for you listening. What's one wish about your own language learning journey that maybe, just maybe, understanding all this grammar makes you feel a bit more ready to tackle or even just express, something to mull over?
Good question. Thanks for diving in with us.